Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Allison Cruz, and, well, today we're going to keep it pretty simple by welcoming you to Mario Tennis Aces, probably one of the more engaging and entertaining sports-related Mario title to be released in recent memory. It's got a healthy dose of challenge, and overall, it's pretty fun. We're going to be focusing primarily on the adventure mode aspect of the game, which basically serves as a long-winded tutorial for the game itself. That was an unintentional pun, by the way. But I think there is enough there to satisfy ourselves and be moderately fun to kind of record and do something on our off time. So with that being said, let's get started with the Mario Tennis Aces.
Give me that. You want a piece of that?
Aww.
You picked the winner. Huh?
Oh, it's so shiny.
No.
No. What? Oh. Huh? Oh!
Luigi!
Luigi!
Well, I guess you can't just have a fun sports game these days. There's got to be ancient curses and evil smoke and nightmares filling the stadium and killing your friends, your siblings, and potential love interests. But welcome to the general expositing screen, where we're going to be having a ton of cutscenes and conversations with Toad, who's going to follow us on our adventure. I still can't believe that happened. Yeah, I can't either, because everything looks exactly the way it did before this entire fiasco began. I don't see Luigi and the others. Where could they be? Gee, I wonder, did that giant, evil, ominous-looking cloud disappearing off in the sky ring any bells there, Toad? Clearly not. But okay, so something that you're going to notice throughout the course of this game is the subpar voice acting of everybody, essentially, but Daisy's are hilarious. So be prepared to hear just a lot of noise that people can produce with their throat, their lungs, their vocal cords, and whatnot. And Daisy screaming yes, and then murmuring 2 seconds later. My favorite is when you're idle on the overworld screen, and Mario literally every 3 seconds will say, "Okie dokie." I'll show it off, but they're talking about the Kingdom of Basque, which happens to be in the desert, and apparently it's a relic of what was once a great kingdom. Archaeologists recently went there to research, excavate things there, and probably desecrate the holy ground. But apparently, tennis was very popular back then, which explains why we're still playing it today. So there's a wall painting that looks very strange. Toad just brings it up off the top of his head. He just thought, hey, you know what? Maybe this will come into usefulness later. But apparently, it seems as though there's a racket that people worshipped. Everyone seems to be extremely surprised. But a racket with mind control powers in my Mario Tennis game? Sure, why not? Wait, are you suggesting Luigi and the others are being controlled by an almighty tennis racket? I don't know, Daisy, that's kind of what it looked like. Also, you can see that the literal life has been sucked out of her eyes. She's just continually staring, and it's very unsettling. She's not blinking. She's unmoved. There we go. Even then, that looks creepy. So, apparently, this is a dangerous mission. We can't let these diplomats who are just casually playing tennis out in the greatest stadium in wherever we are. I think they actually say it's Earth and not the Toadstool Kingdom, Mushroom Kingdom, but they're like, well, guess we got some politicsing to do. Anyways, it's gonna be Mario and Toad heading off, and if Luigi happens to come back, then, well, maybe the princesses should be there to greet him with open arms. So we leave this important task to you. All right, let's head for the desert right away. Don't put yourselves in danger. We'll be waiting your safe return. Yep, and since we're no stranger to adventure or tennyson, you know, we'll be fine. See you ladies later. So we can compete in free play mode or swing mode, which essentially amounts to, you know, your general free play stuff, but swing mode is where you physically take a Joy-Con and you hit the ball as if you were holding a racket. I'm not going to be doing that, but let's go ahead and get started with all of our adventuring. Now, unfortunately, we have to start this entire adventure as Mario, and I don't like playing as Mario. He's probably one of my worst characters, which means we're going to be doing real bad. But since we have the desert ruins here, let's have a look. Stop right here. Past here is Basque ruins. Unless you have important business here, you'd better scram. I don't know what this Dry Bones is thinking. He thinks he's some kind of a husky man. But we need to investigate inside. Can't you let us through? He's like, well, actually, you need an excavation permit. And yeah, apparently it can only be entered by those who play tennis, which is kind of an arbitrary sort of prerequisite. Don't they know that we're Mario? We're literally the greatest tennis player in all the land. Yeah, so we have to beat Dry Bones in a match. Is this the first thing that we're supposed to do? Because I know we can go into the forest, but we can't move forward unless we beat him. So let's get into the actual game, please. By going up against Dry Bones. Beat him in a tennis match, and that's all we need to do. One game, one set. It's gonna be very short. And yes, I got a bone to pick with you. Alright, so he's going to actually teach us how to play, so that's nice, I guess. So he'll go ahead and teach us the basics, which is pretty self-explanatory, but this game does obviously veer into some very strategic territory when it comes to playing. So give the ball a toss by pressing this button. Nice. Alright, that's it? Okay. Now after you toss it, hit the ball while it's in the air to serve. This is where I think Nintendo really is giving the middle finger to anybody who plays video games. It's very handholdy, so hit the ball when it reaches the highest point for a nice serve. You can get good, but nice is where you want to be. There it is. Okay, so looks like we've got a real knack for this. I mean, we are the world champions. I don't mean to brag or anything, but you have no idea. Now try hitting it back to your opponent. It's called a return. Don't forget to let the ball bounce once. So yeah, you cannot return a serve without letting it bounce. And I guess if you're going into this with zero knowledge of how to play tennis, it's pretty useful just to teach like the general rules. But let's go and do this. And ooh, I don't like this. Okay. This is going to seem very unusual. Can I pause? Can I change? That's the stuff. After the serve, you and your opponent will hit the ball back and forth, try to score points. But yeah, we'll need a bit of strategy. So aim far from the opponent and send it to the edge of the court without going out of bounds. So I guess we're just gonna finally do some business here, and charging up, that's good. And generally that's what you wanna do, is just make sure they don't hit the ball. If you want more speed, press it twice to hit the ball harder than usual for a faster shot. So, and charging is what I generally like to do because you'll end up filling your charge meter, and that's going to be very important. So yeah, the rifles will also try to send powerful shots and try to return to the center so you have a good shot at returning successfully. So now that we know the basics, it's time to let the match begin. Sweet. So now they just throw you just a ton of different things you can do. Topspin is going to be your most general type of move, but you also have slicing, flat, and lobs, which you generally want to kind of avoid in most circumstances. So let's go ahead and screw things up for ourselves. Just a nice little, there we go. So depending on the color, you're going to go for either slices or flats, I guess, but those are generally pretty good, and you get a replay every single time. So it's not gonna let me switch my orientation, which is what I was hoping for, but that's fine. And it looks like we're not gonna learn quite enough about charge shots yet in this one, so we're probably fine. I'm not too worried about it. Look at this dry bones has no idea what he's doing. He's not very good at this. Look at him, look at him. We killed him. What? He has no business being the bouncer of this ancient ruin. How dare you? So when it's blue, that generally is going to indicate that it's a curve shot, and you want to be careful when opponents do those, because obviously you're going to have characters that will be better at certain type of shots or are super defensive, super fast than others. I think Dry Bones is technically a tricky kind of opponent, whereas Mario is just all around, quote unquote. I did not get a single nice, so that's great. Man, that was laughably, stupidly easy. This Dry Bones has absolutely no idea what he's doing. He has no business trying to talk down to us and tell us how to play. But we did it. We completed the first stage, and there are actually some very difficult stages in this, so don't get me wrong, it's not entirely a tutorial, but some of these later stages are just like head-numbingly frustrating. So I made it only to the second round of a real-life tournament to be bested by amateurs. Stings. Alright, well, I guess you're pretty okay at tennis, you could have warned me. It's like, well, I guess you are dead, you haven't been around for a minute. So here we have the map right now, and if we want to travel, I guess, yeah, we can just fast travel. Didn't realize that. It's not going to let me change anything. So let's head to the main menu real fast, just so you can see. This game literally forces you into adventure mode. A limited time event has been added to the co-op challenge mode where you play online. By reaching the goals and limited time online events, you can get costumes or color variations for certain characters. It's kind of cool, but not something I'm interested in because the specific co-op challenge modes utilizes the swing mode, which is where you use the Joy-Con as if you were actually using a racket, and I'm not a fan. So you have plenty of different options to do here, but main attraction really is adventure mode because that is what opens up more courts, and I don't think characters actually. So we're not going to deal with that too much for right now. Instead, I'm going to change up some settings. Toad commentary during the tournament matches is kind of funny, but they're a little distracting. I like to play left-handed. That should probably come as no surprise to anyone, and I just wanted to let you guys see that there are other things in this game aside from adventure mode. They just put a really heavy emphasis on it. So, I'm just gonna play. I think there's gonna be some cuts here and there as far as videos. I'm not gonna end them off in any specific way. We're just gonna continue onwards. Whew.